In part 2 of this week's lecture, we're going to learn about the research designs and research methods that IO psychologists typically use. Let's begin with research designs. Different designs have different structures, and the design we choose depends on the goals of the research. There are 3 basic types of research designs: experimental, quasi-experimental, and non-experimental. Most of the research in IO psychology is non-experimental research, like correlational studies. Once we pick a design, then we need to think about what type of methods we'd like to use. There are 2 major categories of research methods: quantitative and qualitative. Think quantity versus quality. Quantitative methods rely on things like tests, rating scales, questionnaires, and physiological measures. When we use quantitative methods, we get numerical data. 1, 2, 3. Compared to qualitative methods, quantitative methods, quantity tends to be more objective and more legally defensible. People prefer numbers as opposed to descriptions, words, adjectives. Qualitative methods rely on things like observations, interviews, case studies, and analysis of historical information, like personnel files. When we use qualitative methods, we generally get words, descriptions of experiences, of feelings, emotions, behaviors, attitudes. Although qualitative methods are generally more subjective and less preferred than quantitative methods, qualitative methods allow us to understand the context, to understand what is really going on. Imagine you are measuring employees' job satisfaction, and you find out that the average score on most items is a 3.5 out of 5. What does that mean? What does a 3.5 out of 5 mean? Is that good? Is that bad? Is that average? Why? Why do people think this way? Why do people feel this way? It's only with qualitative methods that we can truly understand what is going on and why people think, feel, act the way that they do. Here's a table with some of the advantages and disadvantages of both of these methods. Take a few minutes to pause the video and review the information in this table before moving on. Here's a concept that may be new: triangulation. This is the process of collecting information using multiple methods from multiple sources and using different instruments. In the graphic on the screen, you can see examples of each one of these. With triangulation, we are essentially trying to find the truth by looking at it from multiple perspectives. We might use both qualitative and quantitative methods to look at job satisfaction. We might find that with a survey, Department A has lower job satisfaction, but through the interviews that we conduct with employees in Department B, we find out why the other employees are likely suffering as well. In other words, sometimes the answers to our questions lie in multiple places, and there's multiple ways of locating that information. When multiple sources, multiple methods, multiple instruments are all pointing to the same answer, we can be more confident in that answer. Later in the course, we will learn about job analysis. This process also uses triangulation by collecting information from the organization, by observing people doing their jobs, by interviewing subject matter experts, by collecting survey data from subject matter experts as well. All of the information that is collected is then analyzed by the IO psychologist and fed back to the organization in the form of a job description.